Hey everybody, this is Ocular Cavity here, and the reason I'm doing this video is I've been working on my UDR, and I've done a lot of upgrades to the thing. I've had it since launch day. Love the car, it's excellent fun. But I ran into a couple of problems. I originally took the car apart to change the steering rack, as you can see right here. This is my upgraded bulkhead, and I've got the plastic steering rack, which I recently broke one of the lens off here because I actually put two springs in here to lock up the servo saver. And I have a strong enough servo that I don't need the servo saver, and it was making my steering sloppy. If you look at this is one of the other ones I broke, so time for an upgrade. Bought a Hot Racing aluminum one. But that's not the reason I'm doing this video right now. The reason I'm doing this video right now is one of the upgrades I did when I bought this. I bought the housing here, and I bought the rear axle housing. These I all got on eBay, and they're good parts, well made. I also bought some GPM parts because they were the only parts available at the time I ordered these. I've got a GPM Driveshaft here. See it real close. It wobbles, so I've actually had to take it off. It isn't even that it wasn't strong enough, it came from the factory wobble. So if you look here, this is my third factory drive shaft, and the reason I have three is because they keep, wearing out. And I think everybody's kind of said that that drive shaft is a problem. So my next one's going to be MIP. Well, this upgrade piece right here is the front drive shaft, the one that goes from the transmission to the front. You can see the other half of it in the car. Now, I didn't have a problem with this piece. Everybody online has been breaking them. I don't jump my car and I don't do exotic things with it, so I've never had a problem with this. If you look at this right here, this is the plastic one, the first plastic one. I bought this car on launch day. This car was actually a demo car. It was originally out of the box at the local hobby shop. I had to hunt down to find this car. So this is the first plastic drive shaft. And as you can see, it's not bent, it's not really all that worn. The only reason I took it out is because I had taken apart everything. I had taken apart the front bulkhead, took out the diff from here. I took apart the entire center transmission and the rear transmission and moved the guts into these new aluminum housings, which have added weight. When I went to change the steering rack, I'm not sure if you can see it in here, but real close. It's kind of hard to see because the lighting isn't the best, but from this angle you can see it a little bit better. You see how chewed up that is? And I saw it on this side too, that it was chewed up. The Ackerman area where this tie rods for the steering was all chewed up, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I looked at this, and there was a peg, this little peg here on the grub screw that normally holds this in place, was sticking out. This is not the one. If you want to see the one that came out of the car, this is the one. It's in pieces. It's in three separate pieces. So, if you're thinking of upgrading your UDR for that front drive shaft, do not buy the GPM one. And I'm not saying it because the material it's made out of is poor. This grub screw is your only point of contact for the rotation of the front differential. So if you look at this right here, it has got a little peg, and you see how it's flat on one side and round on the other. Now if you look at the factory one also has that same shape. It has a key, but it also has that oblong shape with a flat edge so that you can have something to rotate it. If you look at the GPM one, it's just round. So whoever machined this, they probably had limited machine shopping capabilities, so they were only able to machine a round hole. And because of that, that grub screw is holding the entire stress of the car. And with my car being heavier, it probably broke sooner than it would have, but it still could possibly break for you. And heaven only knows what can happen with this big metal thing jumping around inside a plastic bulkhead. Mine is aluminum. The only plastic part is the steering bits, which I'm going to replace. But now it's a shame. I really don't want to put this back in. But I don't really have a choice. I don't really want to run the plastic one again because I went through so much effort to change it. In order to change out the second half of this one, I have to take apart the entire transmission because of the way the new transmission is assembled. You can't just unscrew this bit off. Where like this one, if you look at this one, there's like that little ridge here is where the bearing goes. The other one, the bearing sits on a ridge that once you've placed it on there, you have to take the entire front of the transmission apart to be able to get at it. And I'm not doing that right now. I barely wanted to change the steering. But this is basically the warning. This was warped from the factory. I got it warped, and it rattles and it buzzes so horribly. I was afraid it was going to destroy my bearings, so I did not run it. This is weak. And the other GPM part I bought that I was not satisfied is, if you look, I have 2 fans on my motor. One fan here, which I ghetto modded on. This fan here, if you can get a good angle so you can see it. This is a GPM fan that sits on the back end of the motor. Good idea, just poorly done, because as you can see right here where my finger is, it was rubbing against the drive shaft. Not only did it rub against the GPM one, which right here, if you can see the ring, it's a little ring right here, that was where it was rubbing. They made this drive shaft, so they should know what the tolerances are for their own parts, and they don't. Not only is that part warped, if I got, here's the factory one that I put on with that fan, and as you can see, it's rubbing here. The only way to relieve that rubbing is I had to completely grind off one of the 4 screw points that holds the grill of the fan and everything onto that motor plate. So if you do buy that fan from GPM, grind off one of the corners as soon as you've mounted it to the car, because it will rub. Do not buy this, and do not buy the drive shaft. Next, I'm going to be buying an MIP drive shaft. As soon as I buy that, I'm going to show you guys how it works. Currently, the parts I'm going to be testing is this new Hot Racing, basically a bell crank. I'm going to be locking it. Basically, all the cars I own, oops, knocked over the camera. All the cars I own, whenever I have to deal with Ackerman steering with a servo saver built into one of the arms, they always give me trouble. So I'm not going to be, I'm never use it. And I basically just upgrade the servo so that I don't have to deal with it. But once this part's on there, I'll give you guys more of a review of that. These parts here are fantastic. Let me know in the comments if you guys want to know where I got them. They were from an eBay seller, so I highly recommend these. They're not needed for durability, but they add a nice weight to the car, and it makes the car flip over a bit less, and it also makes it look more realistic when you're driving. But I would not jump with these parts on. So anyway, I wanted to basically just give you guys a warning about that GPM center, the drive shafts, all of the GPM drive shafts. Just avoid them. I'm going to put up with it for now, but I'm going to be hunting for a better front one, and I've already got my eye on a MIP rear one. So anyway, guys, if you like this kind of content, let me know, and I'll do more of it. But I'm just going to put this back in. Got a pin from the drive shaft I'm never going to use again, so I'm going to use that pin, and hopefully it lasts longer than the last pin. But be safe out there, guys. Enjoy your RCing, and if you want to see more RC content, just let me know. Subscribe, comment, any of that good jazz. All right, catch you later.